you. Can you hear me back there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, first of all, thank you to the organizers of MOVE 2010 for allowing myself and the World Martial Arts Games Committee to present to you our concept of what martial arts are. And basically, when I say the martial arts phenomena, it is truly a phenomena when you consider that this is probably the largest activity in the world, when you look at it as a whole, that has made its way from only a few countries and penetrated almost every country in the world. So I'm going to talk to you about martial arts. I'm going to give you an overview of what the public perceives martial arts to be, and I'm going to try to focus in on the effects on health and give you a different picture on what it is today. So every activity has its dark side, and in martial arts, this is it. Okay? And you can see from the physiques of these two individuals that we're not really concerned in this particular activity about obesity, but what they're doing there does have some negative effects on health, and some of you may not be aware of some of those. Violent sport, or violent sport health hazards. In violent sport, a person can win by physically hurting their opponent. Okay? Unlike any other sports, a knockout can win. A knockout can make you a hero. As of November 2007, there were 1,465 recorded deaths in boxing, as well as frequent brain trauma and permanent damages, which is still yet to be determined. Since 1983, the Canadian, American, and Australian medical associations have all called for a ban on boxing, and of course, we still see boxing as one of the highlights of many events till this day. Earlier this year, the Canadian Medical Association launched a campaign to ban MMA, or mixed martial arts style events in Canada. The picture you saw initially was one of those events. In the USA, television viewing of mixed martial arts style events has surpassed boxing. This year, the ILC gave patronage for the first World Combat Games, which includes sports that could be termed violent. And when I say sports that could be termed violent, boxing was part of that venue. We had sports like Muay Thai kickboxing, which has been a big contributor to brain trauma and deaths, but is not included in that original estimate that I did for you there. One of the interesting things about Muay Thai kickboxing, although it's really fun to watch it sometimes, is that there are little kids, 10, 11, 12 years old, walking around the streets of Thailand with permanent brain damage. So when you give patronage to an event that promotes a sport that creates those types of outcomes, and that is being promoted around the world, it does have a negative impact on some of the things that we do, and some of the positive things. The deaths due to head trauma from violent sport are increasing at a rate of over 100 per year in the developing countries. In the fully developed countries. In the developing countries, we do not have statistics. So it's no wonder that people have a mixed feeling towards martial arts when we try to promote them. So what I'd like to do today is kind of break martial arts down into two parts. The first part being the combat sport component. The second part being what I call the martial wellness component. And I'm going to start with the sport component. Students train solely to win. They have an opportunity to compete from regional tournaments to the Olympic Games and beyond, which many of them can become professional and earn money. Combat sport offers a huge financial opportunity for the athletes, for the promoters, and also for the governments that get revenue in the way of taxes. The martial wellness component, the students train for a lifestyle. Opportunity exists for ages 3 to over 90, and I can tell you that the Grand Master of the style of martial arts that I practice is going to be 90 years old next month. And he does 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups every morning. And so he continues to practice as many of the older generation does in martial arts. It provides a means to a long, healthy, and moral life. So martial arts is a very complex group of activities and disciplines, and even the combat sport component, although there's violent aspects of it, it can also have very, I would say, beneficial health-wise. But I'd really like to focus on the martial wellness component today, because that part is, I feel, is really significant, especially when we're talking about sport for all. Martial wellness has its roots in the Shaolin Temple in China around 500 AD. The techniques that were developed there were by the Buddhist monks, and they developed these techniques to improve their health and also self-defense techniques to protect themselves from bandits. Since that time, it's made its way into other martial arts system and spread throughout the world, and there isn't a martial arts system that I know that doesn't have some claim to the origin of martial arts, but I can tell you that when it comes to the wellness part of martial arts, this is where it comes from. Right now, it's estimated that over 360 million people look to martial wellness as a way of life. So you can see that the market as a whole is very significant. So when we talk about sport for all and looking for ways to improve our standard of living, we have some very I would say dominant challenges here as far as health goes. Number 1 would be inactivity. Number 2 is stress, and of course obesity. And I think they're all kind of interrelated. But I want to show you how martial arts can help. So this here, 3 to 6-year-olds, basically, you look at this, you think, okay, they're taking this 4-year-old boy and training him to be a killer, right? But in fact, this here is a focus exercise. These targets have little circles on them, and this boy is learning how to hit the one on the right side with his left hand and the one on the left side with his right hand. Now, that focus drill turns into a coordination drill when we ask that boy to hit the opposite side with his right hand and the opposite side with his left hand, and then we start going faster and faster, and then we start going left, left, right, right. And these you should see these little guys. I mean, they're 3.5 to 6 years old. They are doing stuff that, as an adult, your eyes are crossed just watching them do it. So it really helps them with their coordination. So what are the benefits to preschool children? Well, age-specific curriculums teach essential life skills: focus, discipline, coordination, memory, and those are just a few of what they teach. In today's society, it's very important. They reinforce good family values. With a lot of single families, you have mothers bringing children to martial arts classes to help them reinforce what they believe are good family values at home. The controlled classrooms teach preschoolers how to behave in a social environment, and I can tell you that I have, I run a preschool program in my martial arts school, and I have parents telling me that when they take their child for the first day of kindergarten, the teachers is asking them why their son or daughter behaves so much differently than everybody else, and it's because because they learn social behavior in our classrooms. And according to child psychologists, these are the most influential years in a child's development. In fact, in February of 2009, I was at the World Health Organization headquarters discussing taking this type of program and using it to instill good values into children that are orphans in developing countries. And the World Health Organization is very interested in it and are going to help us pilot test it at some point. So very, very important to a child's growth. And I like testimonials because, you know, I'm up here telling you all this, but this is from a mother of a 5-year-old. I've noticed a big difference in his balance and coordination, as well as a huge improvement with his listening skills and concentration. These skills and more are learned in a fun and exciting environment that seems to hold his interest more than any other activities we have tried. Thank you so much. And I like to say this is my exercise for keeping kids off cell phones right here, and text messaging. But I really describe it as my method of teaching people how to taste life. And if you think about life, and you think about a glass of wine, and if you had 6 glasses of wine and you had to taste each glass, you would have a piece of bread or a cracker in between so that you could appreciate the next glass. And what happens in our lifestyles today is that we go from one activity to the next, and we haven't finished this one, we're carrying it over to the other one, and the only time we really get to